Hello everyone, my name is Adarsh, and in this video I'm going to compare two navigation technologies. The first is GPS and the second is NavIC. Most of you already know that GPS stands for Global Positioning System, which is being developed by US Department of Defense, whereas on the other hand NavIC is India's own navigation technology developed by ISRO, which many of you might not be familiar with. So before directly jumping to the comparison, I would be discussing briefly about their origin stories and how they work. The origin story of GPS started in early 1960s when US Navy conducted some experiments. They were able to find the location of a submarine which was carrying some missiles with the help of 6 satellites in just few minutes. So biggest takeaway from these experiments was that we could use satellites to navigate. In 1973, the US Department of Defense decided to make a robust system for navigation. So what they did, they started building on top of the same idea that we need some satellites to navigate. As a result, in 1978, they successfully launched their first NavStar satellite. In 1983, US government approved the use of NavStar in commercial aviation sector. They continued launching satellites from 1978 to 1993. And by then, they had a system of 24 satellites which was able to cover almost whole globe. That's it for the history part of the GPS. Now let's try to understand how GPS really works. Before understanding how GPS works, first we need to understand what trilateration is. In trilateration, you can find the exact coordinates of a point if you know the distance of that point from 3 distinct points. As you can see in the image that 3 satellites are calculating their distance from the point X and drawing some circles around them, considering the distance between itself and the device as the radii of the circle. Then the intersection point of these 3 circles will be the exact location of the device. But here we are only using 3 satellites, but I have written that we need at least 4 satellites to pinpoint your location. So why it is? Because all of these satellites have atomic clocks in them, which are insanely accurate, but your device don't have any atomic clock. So to counter that fact, we need the 4th satellite. Otherwise, there will be some time offset, and without the 4th satellite, we can't calculate the value of that time offset. Now we have gathered decent enough information about GPS and how it works. Now it's time to move to the next technology, which is NavIC. The origin story of NavIC starts in 1999 when India was fighting Pakistan in Kargil war. India sought help from US to get the location of Pakistani troops. But US being US denied to help India. So at that time India realized that they need their own navigation system so that in future they would not be dependent on someone else's navigation system. In 2006, Indian government approved the project IRNSS, which stands for Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. After several delays, ISRO launched their first IRNSS satellite in 2013. And after that, they kept on launching the satellites till 2018. In 2018, they launched their last installment, which was their 8th to replace the first one, because the first one encountered some malfunction due to the atomic clock failure. Now there are 7 functional satellites in the NavIC constellation. So Indian government is now planning to increase the number from 7 to 11 to increase the coverage area of NavIC. Next, we will be discussing about the working of NavIC. NavIC has currently a total of 7 satellites that are stationed in the high orbit of Earth, which is approximately at an altitude of 35,000 km from Earth's surface. And all the satellites are in direct line of sight with India. ISRO maintains the perfect line of sight by rotating the satellites at a fixed velocity. The satellites complete one complete rotation in 23 hours 56 minutes and 4 seconds, which is exact orbital period of Earth. So it matches it perfectly. Among the 7 satellites, 3 revolve in geostationary orbit, are constantly in direct line of sight with India's ground station, whereas 4 satellites are in geosynchronous orbit inclined at 29 degrees to the equator, The key takeaway from the working mechanism is that NavIC satellites always maintain the direct line in sight with India. Now, as we have already discussed each and everything which we need to know before comparing both these technologies, now it's time to compare both these technologies. First, we will discuss about the coverage of both these navigation technologies, how much area they are covering. Next, we will discuss about the number of satellites and the security. And at last, we will discuss about the accuracy of both these navigation systems. As we have already discussed that NavIC is a regional navigation system, not a global navigation system. So it covers whole India and around 1500 kilometers of area from its borders, which covers Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka and some northern parts of China too. On the other hand, GPS covers whole world. So in terms of coverage, GPS is the clear winner. There is no comparison between NavIC and GPS. Now let's compare both these technologies on the basis of number of satellites and the security they offer. Again, if we talk about the number of satellites, GPS is a clear winner because it has almost 31 to 32 satellites, out of which 24 are constantly working and rest of them are kept as a backup. If someone fails or some satellite fails, they can replace it anytime without hassle. On the other hand, NavIC has only 7 satellites which are covering Indian region only. So in this domain, GPS is a clear winner. If we talk about the security, NavIC is slightly better to the GPS because in the case of NavIC, they are using L5 band for general purpose use and S band which is encrypted for military purpose and not open for public. On the other hand, GPS uses L1 and L2 band frequency for both general purpose use and military use. So here NavIC is slightly better than GPS. Now here comes the most important part of the comparison between NavIC and GPS, which is position accuracy. And I'm feeling proud to tell you that NavIC is far ahead of GPS in this aspect, as NavIC is up to 5 meters accurate, whereas GPS is accurate up to only 20 meters. And in mountains too, NavIC is way more accurate as compared to GPS because its satellites are orbiting in a much higher orbit as compared to GPS. So their signals are less prone to get obstructed by mountains. So in this aspect, hands down, NavIC is a clear winner. So that is all about NavIC and how it is different from the already dominant navigation system GPS. The story of NavIC is not about a technical marvel, but the India's quest towards self-dependence. And ISRO is doing great on that front. Thank you everyone.